Welcome to Portugal, the fourth round of the World Rally Championship. This is an event that's steeped in history, famous for its fans as much as its stages. As in 2007, the rally returns to the Algarve. The drivers like the event, but they are fully aware of the hidden dangers out on the stages.
There are nice stages, really technical and difficult over the crest and blind crest and turning here and there. It's difficult to get the notes right.
I haven't seen so many blind corners on the rallies.
Very unseen in some of the places, you know, so it's very easy to do a mistake over the crest.
You can't just drive what you see. You have to go with your notes tell, and that's the only way to go fast.
You have to trust in your notes, and a little mistake you can go off the road, and so no, it makes it special.
But all the talk is of a returning champion. Marcus Gronholm is back. This time though he's driving a Subaru, but what everyone wants to know is, can he be competitive?
That's the question. I have no idea. I think we can be quite okay if I find the feeling and so, but how I don't know.
With Sebastian Loeb on a roll, having won the first 3 events, taking him to a stunning 50 rally victories. And Peter Solberg brimming with confidence after his 3rd place in Cyprus. Rally Portugal now boasts 3 world champions, all gunning for glory, but all eyes are on an old rivalry renewed.
I think it will be tough, but I would like to beat him on some stages. If I can't beat him in the whole rally, I would like to win some stages.
A big battle with Marcus. I'm looking forward for that, as long as I win.
Don't forget about Ford's Mikko Hirvonen. He's the only man to have pushed Loeb on gravel in recent times. And with this being the first of 7 all-gravel events, this is his chance to challenge Sebastian. Loeb's 3 out of 3 wins gives him a maximum of 30 points and an advantage of 8 over Hirvonen. Danny Sordo is 3rd. Petter's 3rd place in Cyprus put him within a point of his older brother Henning. Citroën have a dominant lead of 16 points over Ford in the manufacturers' table. Stobarts hold 3rd ahead of the Citroën junior team. The rally takes place in the Algarve on the southerly coast of Portugal. There are 18 stages in all, and most run in the countryside to the north of Faro, totalling 361 kilometres. Coming up, Peter Solberg gives us his guide to the stages, and in particular the hidden crests that caused so many problems 2 years ago.
See here, it's very narrow, and you're cutting corners from corner to corner.
Marcus Gronholm is back, and he takes some time to talk to us about his decision to return to the WRC. Plus, Loeb and Elena take us through their favourite moments from their incredible 50 rally victories.
I never say, okay, I will win. I say I will try to win.
Rally Portugal is full of hidden surprises. The stages are known for their blind crests, so pace notes have to be absolutely accurate. Taking the wrong line here can be disastrous. Here's Peter Solberg to explain how best to tackle the event.
Here's me in the Subaru from 2007. This rally is all about getting your pace notes so perfect, because when you're coming over crest like here, it has to be keep right, keep left, and if you have 200 kilometers and it just tightens a little bit, you go off properly. And we're coming to some places here where it's some big drops. So see there, I kept a little bit left and should have been a little bit more to the right to get the next corner better. So I lifted, and you get a little bit nervous and you lose time. See here, it's very narrow, and you're cutting corners from corner to corner. And if you don't have all these details with you in your pace notes, you are finito.
Back in 2007, it was finito here for Petter's teammate. Petter explains what happened.
Here's Chris Atkinson on a stage where he had a big accident. And here you show that if you don't have good enough pace notes, you can go off the road. It's very unseen, and it should have kept even more inside in the corner. But it's a blind crest, and it's a huge accident.
The rally started with a super special in the impressive Algarve Stadium. The local fans again proving their love for motorsport by turning out in their thousands to see rallying's elite fight it out on this impressive 2.2 kilometre circuit. One of the biggest cheers of the evening was heard for the returning Marcus Gronholm. Portuguese spectators appreciate talent when they see it and know the Big Fin is still one of the best drivers on the planet. It was a good time for Marcus, but even quicker were his former teammate Mikko Hirvonen and his old sparring partner Sebastian Loeb. Petter Solberg was the showman as always, but it was his older brother Henning who went quickest. And to tell us about the 6 stages coming up on day one, here's Gronholm's co-driver Timo Rautiainen.
Day one, Rally Portugal. We've got 6 stages, 3 of them driven twice. The stage to look for is the first stage of the loop. The first part of that stage, 13 kilometers, we have done 2007. But then the 10 last kilometers, they are new and might be challenging because of the low sun in the morning and the dust. We don't know how long it stays on the road with 2 minutes intervals. Is it enough or not?
And it's the championship leader Sebastian Loeb who is first to take on the 23 kilometre stage 2. He's away, and in these dry, dusty conditions it's going to be a tough first day for Citroën's number 1 as he resumes his familiar road sweeping role.
150 mètres, attention, droite 140 plus fond, ouvre frein pendant 150 mètres pour devant arbre, gauche 90 moins, et 3.
Oh, it's an early mistake for Loeb. He's caught himself under braking at that junction. And this overshoot is not the start he was hoping for. With the seconds ticking past and the dust still hanging, Sebastian's stranded as he can't see where to go. He's reversed back onto the stage, but it's a good 17 seconds before the dust has settled enough to know where to go. A dramatic start to the rally to Portugal then. Mikko Hirvonen won't know it yet, but his biggest rival has already given him a golden opportunity. Hirvonen's 8 points behind in the Drivers' Championship after just 3 rounds, so a win here would be crucial to his confidence as well as the deficit in the title race. Petter Solberg is looking as spectacular as ever, and we'll be watching out for those unseen crests he mentioned earlier and listening intently to the pace notes from co-driver Phil Mills.
Get in and line into 6 right minus, start long, try to keep into a crest to 6 left minus, oh but extra long, keep into a crest, 120.
And what a treat for the Portuguese fans with Marcus Gronholm lined up on the start line. The former Peugeot and Ford driver is back after retiring at the end of 2007 when he came so close to claiming a 3rd driver's title. Driving a pro-drive run Subaru Impreza, it remains to be seen how competitive the man and the car will be. Rejoining Loeb now, and unsurprisingly, it's not a great time from the world champion. Let's find out what went wrong at that junction.
A problem at the start, we hear. Yeah, first braking straight, but only for 1 meter, so I reversed, and I was in my dust. I didn't find the road, so I had to wait the dust to go down because I didn't know. I know nearly which way, but not exactly. And when I started to go, I saw a tree in front of me, and I was not on the right road, so I was waiting.
Comparing Loeb to Mikko Hirvonen at the corner in question, their braking points represented by the red line show Mikko dabbed his brakes a little earlier. The Frenchman's also a few kilometres an hour faster into that corner. The margins are small, but at this level, that's the difference between Hirvonen staying on the road and Loeb going off. Loeb is rattled early on then, but can Hirvonen capitalise? There's the Frenchman's time, and it's already clear Mikko is going to be a lot faster. 16.3 seconds quicker than Loeb. It's a terrific start for Ford's number 1. Taking advantage of his slightly clearer line, though, is Danny Sordo. The Spaniard is just under 2 seconds quicker than Hirvonen and stays ahead of him overall. Judging from the early split times, though, it's Latvala who could be the man to watch this morning.
Quick, call him.
Well, close shave for the Finn there. Interestingly, Jari-Matti's opted to not receive split times as he's found it distracts him, and on his 24th birthday he's on course to set a fantastic time on stage 2. Sordo is quickest at the moment, but Latvala's beaten him 7.8 seconds faster, and Jari-Matti takes the provisional lead. Marcus Grönholm, meanwhile, is proving he's lost none of his speed, and in his first competitive outing in a Subaru Impreza, the Finn has taken full advantage of his later start position and clearer line. Second fastest on stage 2, Marcus is up to third.
Early breakings all the time. I am, used to compete again and to listen to notes, and a little bit afraid still with the car as well. Enjoying it though? Oh, it's okay. Yes.
After stage 2, then it's birthday boy Latvala who's out front, 5 seconds up on Danny Sordo. Grönholm's third, 4/10 of a second ahead of his former teammate Hievinen, but Loeb is in a lowly 7th, over 24 seconds off the lead after that early mistake. Marcus Grönholm, the double world champion, is back. A man remembered for his victories, as well as his crashes. He's also remembered for telling it exactly as it is.
I'm fed up with this car.
In more than 3 words, can you sum up your day for me today?
Not very good today. That's 4. If it wasn't good, I said it quite clearly after the stage, and it was not so clever sometimes, but okay, I was quite honest.
With over a year away from the WRC, has he missed it at all?
Yes, a little bit, yes. Not the whole season, like traveling and testing and doing all the rallies, but I've been busy, but in a different, meaning, other things to do, but not the same as, driving and fighting and what I have done for many, many years.
But how easy has it been to get back in the driving seat?
It can be difficult to find the right pace to fight for the last seconds. But to do a normal pace, it's not a problem. It came quite easily.
After driving many different cars over his long career, Marcus has adapted quickly to his new Subaru.
It's doing what I want. Okay, suspension is still not perfect, but it took a bit time also to adjust myself to 6-speed gearbox, and that's a little bit different. But in the end, it felt quite okay.
So, with all eyes watching the former world champion, is he at all nervous?
Not nervous, no. I feel quite relaxed, and we will see when the rally starts where we are. That's an interesting thing.
On to the morning loop's final 2 stages, and with Grönholm making a strong start in third, the rally leader Latvala's good form continues into stage 3. Like the C4, the Ford Focus has been improved for this rally, and changes to the engine are hoped to provide a bit more power. 7th on the road, Latvala is benefiting from better grip levels than his rivals and extends his advantage with another fastest time. Moving on to stage 4, Latvala seems well up for the task this morning. Oh! An absolutely huge accident. Some nearby Finnish spectators caught the action. Several rolls down the hillside. It's a terrifying scene and a disaster for Jari-Matti after another promising start. Amazingly, he and Mika Anttila are both uninjured, but the damage this could have done to the Finns' fragile confidence, we can only imagine. It's a nightmare for Latvala, but Danny Sordo suddenly finds himself as the rally leader, the first time he's led a gravel event since Greece last season. One of Loeb's main rivals is out of the rally, and ominously, despite running first on the road, Sebastian sets his first scratch time of the weekend on stage 4. And once again, the responsibility of keeping Ford represented on the leaderboard has fallen solely on Hirvonen. There's a lot of dust inside the car, though, which will be distracting, and he only manages the 4th fastest time in stage 4. Marcus Grönholm was given a frustrating delay at the beginning of the test after initially being told the stage had been cancelled because of Latvala's accident. It's still an impressive performance from the Finn, though, 3rd fastest on stage, and he's now up to 2nd with Latvala retired.
If someone told you yesterday that you'd go to first service, 2nd place, would you believe them?
Yes, because I had a good feeling in the test, so why not? But I was a little bit, worried about my pace notes and the pace because I haven't been driving so much. So.
The wreck of Latvala's car gives you an idea of the ferocity of the accident. It's a testament to the strength of these cars that they walked away.
I came too fast to the right-hand corner, obviously. I didn't expect that it will jump, and it jumped a little bit and lifted me to the outside, to the bank, and making the car to the 2 wheels, and I had no chance anymore, no room, and car started to roll and went over the fence and started to roll like 100 meters down. So it's been the biggest accident I have ever had.
It's not a birthday Latvala will forget in a hurry, and his crash leaves Danny Sordo in front. He's 3.2 seconds ahead of Grönholm, and that's also the time that separates him from 3rd place Hirvonen. Loeb is 4th and Petter Solberg 5th. Back at service, Jani-Matti Latvala and his Ford team boss Malcolm Wilson will have a lot to talk about.
Something I need to change in the nose or something.
I have to say it's it is a big disappointment because again it's put us in a very difficult position so early on in the rally with a lot more pressure now going on Mikko. On this occasion, I think I have to say that it's the biggest accident of his career, and I'm really pleased to say that the way that the safety cell and everything has stood up in the focus is. It means that they're still here, and they both weren't injured at all.
Sometimes I want to drive with my instinct, dies what I see. You always need to listen to your co-driver, and that's what I'm doing. But sometimes I just want to break the distance. When I see the distance, I start to brake on there, and it was too late. And that's why I have done these mistakes now quite often.
We had a good plan, but it doesn't really work anymore, so we have to think of another way of doing it. And we'll see. But I feel like if I don't drop behind Sebastian, I'm going to be first car on the road tomorrow, because I'm sure everybody else will slow down as well. So it's a bit tricky situation.
So Danny Sordo is leading, but the Rally to Portugal is living up to its reputation. There's more to come after the break. Welcome back to the Vodafone Rally to Portugal, where Danny Sordo leads after an action-packed morning. A repeated run through the 3 stages used earlier next, and we've already seen that these roads are not to be taken lightly. With the surface cleared of loose gravel after the earlier loop, there is no disadvantage for Sebastian Loeb running first on the road. So what can the Frenchman do about his 23-second deficit to the rally leader? It's Sordo then who finds himself in the unfamiliar position of leading a gravel rally. A very fast section here in the build-up to the corner that caught out his teammate this morning. Oh, but he's made exactly the same mistake, an identical overshoot for Sordo, and it's the last thing he needed in his hopes of holding on to the lead. Petter Solberg is still pushing as hard as he can in his older Citroën Zara. The former world champion managed to finish ahead of Sordo last time out in Cyprus, but so far in Portugal, Petter hasn't quite been able to match the front runners. He remains in 5th. Hirvonen has some work to do to get on terms with the early pace set as Sordo. Mikko gets the quickest time through so far, more than 5 seconds quicker than Loeb, who's already finished the stage. Hirvonen flying and Sordo already having slipped up in this stage, Citroën's number 2 could struggle to hold on to the lead here. Yes, he's clearly going to be a lot slower. It really was a very costly overshoot. Danny loses the lead to Hirvonen.
He lost the same corner at 7 in the first pass. It's incredible. But and after the problem is you lost the corner, and after you wait for the dust, no, because the dust is coming. But after I dropped well, I'm happy.
Danny's delay has also ensured Marcus Gronholm benefits. The Finn also passes Sordo, but remains in second place after being passed by Hirvonen. He's continuing to show the rally world what it's been missing for the last year. So we have the fourth leader of the rally, with Mikko Hirvonen now into the top spot, with Gronholm still second and Sordo down to third. Loeb's 21.5 seconds behind the leader, while further back Sebastian Ogier and Evgeny Novikov have swapped places in the fight for seventh. Despite their difficult start here, Sebastian Loeb and Daniel Elena are the most successful WRC partnership of all time. Their victory on the last round in Cyprus was the 50th for the 5 times world champions. Of all their victories and records they've broken, they have their favourites.
My first victory was in Monte Carlo. For us, we won, and then we had this disqualification, and we finished second. But in my mind, it stayed my first victory. Finland, for me, is for sure it's one of the mythic rallies that you want to win one day when you are a driver in World Championship. And we've done it last year. It was a good fight with Mikko. I would have preferred to win it in front of Marcus, but I couldn't do it. We had some fight, but finally we never won. And so we won last year in a good fight. It was because Mikko was really fast, and he has done a very good rally, and so it was still very good to win in front of him. I have much better memories from Norway this year, because that was a real fight with Mikko. It was we had to go flat out from the start to the end. I never say, okay, I will win. I say I will try to win. But so now it's important to stay focused and to know that it's not so easy.
It's certainly not proving easy for Seb in Portugal, but before we rejoin him on the last 2 stages, here's a review of what's been happening down the leaderboard. Rally leader after Thursday's Super Special, Henning Solberg has had a quiet day since losing time in the morning loop with brake problems. The Norwegian is running 9th going into stage 6. Teammate Matt Wilson is looking to maintain his 100% scoring record this season and is currently in 6th. A fine drive and no mistakes for the Stobart Ford-man so far. Behind Wilson, there's an interesting battle developing for 7th between 2 of the Citroën Junior drivers. Young Russian sensation Evgeny Novikov has been holding the position for much of the morning. On stage 5, though, his teammate and reigning junior world champion Sebastian Ogier set an impressive 3rd fastest time to move past Evgeny. We've already seen our fair share of big incidents in Portugal, and on stage 2, PWRC Championship leader Patrick Sandel showed us another example of how easily this event can catch you out. The Swede's Super 2000 Skoda Fabia has certainly seen better days, but again, thankfully, both driver and co-driver were unharmed. Back to the leaders then as they move on to stages 6 and 7, the final 2 of day 1, and plenty to still be decided. Road position has not helped Sebastian Loeb today, but he's also shown how tricky these roads are with his early error too. Beginning stage 6 over 21 seconds behind the rally leader, he has a tough task ahead to get back on terms. So having built up a reasonably healthy lead, will Mikko Hirvonen be happy to stay there? Or, as we've seen often over the last year, will he drop back to ensure a better road position for the next day? No sign of backing off for the Finn, and it's Mikko who ends the day as the rally leader. Danny Sordo has put in a fine display today. He may have lost the lead this afternoon, but another fastest time on stage 6 proves he's clearly not given up his pursuit of Hirvonen. He ends the day just 15 seconds behind the leader. Petter Solberg finishes strongly with the second fastest time on stage 7 and ends day 1 in 5th place, still just about within touching distance of the early leaders.
Tightens to 5 right bus, 6 left half long, 20. Keep left over crest to 5 right bus half long, keep left over...
So just Marcus Gronholm remains of the top 4 runners now. He's already been slowed by a struggling Khalid Al-Qasimi, so it's not looking like a great time in here. Approaching the flying finish now, and he's suddenly a lot slower. There doesn't appear to be anything obvious wrong with the car. And Rautiainen is clearly keen to slow down, so Marcus employing tactics here. He's back up to speed in the flying finish. But he slips behind both Sordo and Loeb into 4th, giving him a better road position for day 2. But has he given away too much time? Loeb finished the day with another fastest time and is 18 seconds behind the leader. Gronholm's now 4th, just under 6 seconds behind Loeb after being given 2 seconds back by the stewards for his problems at the start of stage 4. It's his antics at the end of 7, though, that are the talking point at service.
Marcus, tell me what happened at the end of stage 7.
We had a little bit problems on the stage, few different things. We overtook Khalid in the dust there, and then something with the front right suspension. So, but then we slowed even down for nothing in the end to just be behind Seb, but we slowed down a little bit too much.
Why was that? Did you get your maths wrong?
No, I didn't want to be first on the road, so now we are 4th, but a little bit too far now.
It's been a brutal opening day of the Rally de Portugal, and there are still 2 more to come. Stay with us for the rest of the action from the Algarve. Welcome back. Today's stages return to the countryside above Faro. Here's Timo Rautiainen to tell us more.
Day 2, Saturday, 6 stages again, 145 kilometers of length. And opening stage again, 8-11, named Santa Clara. That's new for all of the drivers. The first part of it we have done, it's opposite, so no help of it, but we know a bit the character of the road. There is a fast part in the middle of that stage. Really look forward having that again.
It's looking like another warm, sunny day on the Algarve, and what a day in prospect we have. 3 current or former world champions still in the mix, and just 24 seconds separating the top 4. The rally leader, by a margin of 15 seconds, is Mikko Hirvonen. Although he has a healthy lead, he will have the worst of the loose gravel to face on this opening loop. And more examples here of these treacherous blind crests. It's tricky corners like these that caused Mikko's teammate Latvala to come unstuck. Mikko, though, is completely focused on the directions from Jarmo Leitonen. Danny Sordo put in one of the drives of day 1. The young Spaniard had led the rally briefly, and for once is even running ahead of his illustrious teammate. Sebastian Loeb is just 3 seconds behind, though, and with a slightly clearer line in the gravel. Expect the world champion to begin his fight back immediately. Very narrow sections of road to negotiate here. Loeb's old adversary, Marcus Gronholm, employed tactics last night and backed off to finish the day in 4th and ensure he has a better road position this morning. Whoa! What a disappointment after such an amazing return to action. Taking another look, a big slide just clips the rear of the car, and at this speed, they very quickly lose control. The result is a spectacular roll. That's one of the leading 4 out of action for now then, but let's rejoin Gronholm's former teammate Hirvonen in the latter part of the stage. We can compare the rally leader's progress with his closest rivals now at the 10.3 kilometre split, which is halfway through the stage, and it's looking very good for Loeb. He could make significant inroads into Hirvonen's advantage here. Mikko 2.8 seconds behind at that point. Sordo 3.2 down, which would put Danny behind his teammate. Hirvonen was quicker than Sordo in here, but beating Loeb could be a different proposition. It's Seb's turn now to blast through this narrow stretch of road towards the finish. And he's looking good to beat the target time that'll put him up to second ahead of his teammate. Yes, he's done it. Loeb is one place closer to the rally lead.
Sebastian, a good stage through there. 4.6 quicker than Mikko at the end of it.
But okay, I tried hard. The stage is very difficult. It's a new stage with a lot of crest, of tricky places. So, okay, I had a good drive, no mistake. And finally 4 seconds faster than Mikko. It's not so bad.
Petter Solberg could move up to fourth following Gronholm's off. The Finn has made it back onto the stage and is attempting to continue, but his dust trail has begun to hold up Solberg.
Flat 6 right thrust of a crest, 40. Slight left to 6 right of a crest, tightens. 100.
He eventually passes Gronholm, now stationary in the stage, but not before he's lost several seconds with that delay. And with a damaged engine, Gronholm is forced to admit defeat.
I got maybe a little bit too excited. Again, back and fighting to make good time. So it was quite a slow section. I went a little bit wide with the rear and hit the tree, and that took us then out. And we rode once, back on the wheels, back up on the stage. But we drove then, I don't know how many Ks we came, and then we had a oil leak or something, so I decided to stop.
Another incident-filled stage to start day 2 then, and Hirvonen now has Loeb as his closest rival, 13.4 seconds behind. With his teammate Jari-Matti Lavela retiring after that big off on day 1, Hirvonen's game plan for this event has been completely rewritten. And he may find it difficult to stay ahead of Loeb, running first on the road. The Frenchman knows this is his chance and is making one of his devastating attacks through the daunting 27-kilometre Almodovar stage. Loeb continues his charge through the last kilometre or so. If he beats that target time, Sebastian will take the lead for the first time this rally. Yes, he's done it. Loeb becomes the 5th leader of the weekend. He's now 1.6 seconds ahead of Hirvonen. And Sebastian's morning gets even better on stage 10. He's fastest again and pulls another 5.3 ahead of Mikko. As so often happens with the leading pair pushing each other on to increasingly impressive times, the chasing pack led by Danny Sordo are beginning to slip adrift. This small off on stage 10 doesn't help him, and it's yet another case of not listening to the pace notes that caused the error.
He doesn't listen very well, Mark, after one slow crest for the right corner, you know. And I turned in the right corner for not right. I turned to left in second gear, and I lost a lot of time.
Henning Solberg has almost been forgotten since he led a world rally for the first ever time after the Super Special on Thursday. But a good run sees the Norwegian make his way back up to 6th. Henning is also beginning to close slightly on his teammate Matthew Wilson. British driver is just 21 seconds ahead after stage 10. A small stall not helping his cause here.
Max left 4.
So, at the end of the second morning, Loeb leads Hirvonen by 6.9 seconds. Sordo is 3rd and Petter Solberg still 4th, while Subaru privateer Mads Osberg has moved up to 7th. Next, it's back to the service stop in the shadow of the Estadio Algarve in Faro.
Welcome to Portugal.
Everybody seems to be enjoying the sun and what has been an absorbing competition so far.
Perfect morning for me, pushing hard, 3 best times, very good time in the second stage, maybe it was cleaning more than the two other stages, and so we took the lead, and that's perfect.
That second stage, something just didn't go right, and it's also, you can't tell when you see the road that are you going to lose time when you're cleaning it or not. It's impossible to tell, and for sure on that stage we lost more.
So the second pass this afternoon, you think you'll have more of a chance to get back that time?
Well, hopefully. I don't know am I going to get it back, but I hope that I don't lose too much more. If it's somewhere around 10 or 15 seconds, we can still fight tomorrow, and then it'd be a fight all the way.
Back up to the Santa Clara stage next, and as he just said, Mikko will hope he can make up some ground this afternoon after losing the lead to his fiercest rival. And we can ride alongside Hirvonen to experience just how breathtaking some of these roads are in Portugal. It's a real roller coaster of a stage at times, and looking at his telemetry, you can see the speeds are still well in excess of 100 kilometers an hour, despite the treacherous nature of the roads, as Mikko is desperate to claw back some time from Loeb. Joining the rally leader now, though, and Loeb is setting an incredible pace as well in stage 11. Mikko has made it through the stage with another impressive time, so the benchmark is set for Loeb to attack, and as he bears down on the finish boards, there's not much in this. Seb is quicker again, only by 1.2 seconds, but it's enough to maintain his advantage out front. Loeb's lead in the top spot is now 8.1 seconds, with Sordo almost 37 behind Hirvonen. Peter Solberg is still fourth, with Matt Wilson still on course for another top 5 finish. Rounding up the action further back now, and Sébastien Ogier was in line for a 5th place spot this morning, giving himself the chance to claim the best finish of his fledgling career.
Qui ouvre 50 mètres. Gauche 141 fois en ciel, 40 mètres. Frein droite 120 plus mi-long-tard.
But this off put paid to his hopes, and with a broken steering arm, that marked the end of his day. Citroën Junior teammate Evgeny Novikov, though, made it back up to 7th after surviving his own moments on stage 10.
40 straight, attention, left one very short. Tighten 3 out road. Oh, sorry, dude. Tighten you. Go get starter up.
Mads Osberg had got himself into 7th in his privately entered Subaru Impreza until he lost the position on stage 11 to a fired-up Novikov. Back to the front runners in the final pair of stages then, and Mikko Hirvonen needs to find some pace from somewhere to get back on terms with the rally leader. Excessive tyre wear is beginning to cause the Finns some problems, though. These are a crucial pair of stages for Mikko, and this lack of grip couldn't have come at a worse possible time. Loeb is pushing hard to build up as big a lead as he can. He knows he'll have a disadvantage running first on the road on the final day. It's a perfect finish for Seb, 11 seconds quicker than Mikko on stage 12, and another 8 seconds further ahead on the day's final stage. A familiar pattern has emerged for Dani Sordo. With Latvala out and under little pressure from behind, the Spaniard is free to concentrate on further extending Citroën's already impressive tally in the manufacturer's standings. Peter Solberg was already the best part of a minute behind Sordo before stage 12, and like Hirvonen, his tyres are really suffering on these abrasive stages.
Straight right. 3 left plus, 5 depths.
He remains in 4th, but Petter is clearly not happy. And taking one look at his tyres at the end of the day, you can see why. With one day remaining then, Hirvonen's fading pace has left him with a deficit of almost half a minute to make up on Loeb. The battle of the Stobart VK Fords for 5th looks like the one to watch on the final day, but it's been another devastating run from the world champion who won all 6 stages today. As Rally Portugal continues to live up to its hazardous reputation, join us and the thousands of fans expected here for all the action from day 3. Welcome back to Portugal. Pirelli's Star Driver program is a new initiative to unearth the next generation of WRC talent. The program is backed by the FIA, and after a rigorous selection process, the 5 most promising drivers will compete in 6 rounds of the championship. All 5 will drive identical Group N Mitsubishi Evo 10s.
It's wonderful to see 5 drivers, well, I've only met 3 of them yesterday, but drivers who would otherwise have no chance of coming into the World Rally Championship. Suddenly they're there. But if they've got the talent, and that will become apparent over the next few years, few races, few events, then 1 or 2 or more of them may really make it into the big time.
It was Finnish driver Jarkko Nakara who took the early advantage before breaking his suspension and handing the role of leading Pirelli star driver to 28-year-old Mark Tapper. The Kiwi was the fastest on Saturday, but broken power steering on stage 9 would end his good run. With the other Mitsubishis of Martin Semmerad and Nikos Thomas failing to finish, at the start of day 3, only South African John Williams remained unscathed. Just 5 stages totaling 80 kilometres make up the final day's action. Lule is the longest at just under 23 kilometres and features a challenging mix of fast and twisty sections. The event finishes with another run through the spectacular Super Special at the Algarve Stadium. Another stunning sunrise marks the dawn of the final day's action in what's been an enthralling rally to Portugal. It's not over yet, though, and Sebastian Loeb lines up on the start line of stage 14 with the rally win again firmly within his grasp. It's Seb's turn to sweep the top layer of loose gravel clear for the chasing pack. Whoa, that was close. Loeb on the verge of spinning. We've seen a few small errors late on from the Citroën man recently, but again, he gets away with that. There is some very deep gravel early on in Lule, so there is still plenty of loose stuff around, making the going almost as tough for Hirvonen in stage 14. With a deficit of almost 27 seconds to make up, he has a tough challenge ahead on this final day. A stall in stage 14 doesn't help his hopes of challenging for the lead. And judging from Loeb's pace here, there is little sign of his road position hampering his progress. The championship leader tightens his grip on his 51st career victory with fastest times on both stages 14 and 15. So much for road sweeping today. Petter Solberg has put in a fine string of performances since he rejoined the championship at his home event in Norway. A loose bonnet proves more of a distraction than a real hindrance on stage 15. The stage is cleared with a 5th fastest time.
Middle of a crest. Caution slow 40.
One driver who is under real pressure on this final day is Matt Wilson. The Stobart Ford man begins the final morning just 9/10 of a second ahead of his teammate Henning Solberg.
Continues to Max Brow.
A windscreen demister problem forces the Norwegian to stop to allow it to clear though, and he loses almost 40 seconds. Evgeny Novikov has slipped behind Mats Osberg to 8th on stage 14, so he's attacking hard to regain the position on the following test.
Crest immediate, left 0, very short.
Oh! But that's the end of his hopes now.
Yeah, wheel broken.
See if you can drive.
No, the wheel is...
All right.
Plenty going on further back then, but there is little change at the head of the field. Loeb's lead now up to 31.1 seconds with Hirvonen second, followed by Sordo and Petter Solberg. Conrad Rautermack replaces his teammate Novikov in the final point-scoring place. Sebastian Loeb arrives back at service, and he knows the job is almost done. He's even found time to catch up on some Formula One action from Malaysia. The Frenchman clearly as relaxed as ever with just 3 stages remaining. So here we go then, the final 2 gravel stages of the rally and the last chance for Mikko to make a late charge for his first win of the season. Ford's number 1 starts well on the second run through Lule with Loeb easing off a little. Hirvonen sets his first fastest time since Friday and makes up almost 5 seconds. Sordo has long since given up any hope of catching the Ford driver, so it will be a safety first approach on these final stages as he seeks to secure his 2nd podium finish of the season. On to stage 17, the final long stage before a run through the Algarve Stadium Super Special. And there's some late drama here for Loeb. The first split time indicates the Frenchman has lost more than 14 seconds to a possible late opportunity for the chasing Hirvonen. There's no sign of any damage to his car, so what on earth's happened there?
Sebastian, the last split I have, you're 16.9 slower than Mikko. What's happening?
It's a wrong split. I had 14 slower than Mikko after 5 kilometers, and I had no mistake, a good drive. So I think it's a mistake somewhere.
Frustratingly for Hirvonen, it appears it was just a timing glitch, but still running in the stage, the Finn is not yet aware of this and is attacking hard in the hope that the leader has slipped up. It's another fastest time for Mikko to finish the penultimate stage, but he was actually only 2.4 seconds quicker than Loeb. His hopes of a victory now all but extinguished.
We had a split time came through on the computer that you were 14 quicker than Sebastian. We were thinking it could be game on, but
it must be a wrong split. I got the same split and I started to attack straight away, but must have been wrong. He couldn't be gaining 14 seconds in the last split, so shame.
Some late excitement for the front runners then, while further back, Matt Wilson's on course to claim his second consecutive top 5 finish. A late off for the Brit on the penultimate stage. It's actually Matthew's first ever full roll, and it's a devastating end to their event after such a good run.
You all right?
Yeah.
And Wilson's not the only one to fail to make it through stage 17 after an off of his own. Conrad Rautermach's rally's come to a fiery end. His hopes of a second consecutive points finish now up in smoke. Loeb is 24 seconds ahead of Hirvonen then as they head back to the impressive Super Special at the Algarve Stadium. Thousands of spectators have again packed in, enjoying the sunshine and another spectacular display of car control from the WRC's finest. Petter Solberg certainly looks happy with his 4th position. Loeb's 51st victory now surely a formality as he runs a victory lap around the tight confines of this 2.2-kilometre circuit. The fanatical Portuguese fans appreciate they are witnessing a genius who at the moment is looking practically unbeatable. It's Hirvonen's 8th runner-up spot since he became Ford's #1, but once again he's been beaten by the most successful driver in the sport's history. The familiar handshake from Loeb and Daniel Elena. It's win number 51 in the bag, and the Citroën team are delighted. Another tremendous display of driving from Loeb sees him claim victory by a margin of 24.3 seconds. Hirvonen settles for another 2nd spot, with Sordo 3rd and Petter Solberg 4th. Further back, the late retirements for Wilson and Rautermach see Federico Villagra and Khalid Al-Qasimi claim the final points places.
A great victory. Difficult start in the rally. The first day was tough for me. We've done a mistake in the first stage. Then I expected to come back in the afternoon and I couldn't do it. So on Saturday it was no tactic on Friday evening from Ford, and so on Saturday we were 3rd on the road and we were able to close the gap and to take the lead. Then we decided also not to play in tactic for the last day, and today it was okay. So for me it was really a perfect weekend.
With 4 wins out of 4 then, it's a testament to Hirvonen's own consistency that he's only 10 points behind in the championship race. Sordo further cements his 3rd spot, and Petter Solberg moves ahead of his brother Henning by virtue of his podium finish in Cyprus. Another fantastic weekend for Citroën, and another big mistake for Jari-Matti Latvala sees Citroën further cement their lead in the manufacturer's title race. Stobart Ford remain 3rd. Loeb and Elena are once again enjoying their moment in the sun on the finished podium, with their unbeaten run now stretching to 5 rallies. Ominously for his rivals, he's also won the last 4 Rally Argentinas. It's been one of the most dramatic rallies of recent times, with Portugal certainly coming back with a bang. Join us again in Argentina, but until then, it's goodbye.